All right, so let's get stuck into it. So if you're a web designer and you've ever asked yourself the question, should I put my pricing on my website? I'm going to try and help you answer that question today because there's actually some pros and cons to it. So let's talk about the yes, okay? So yes, you should put your pricing on your website. So what kind of web designer, what kind of business would you have that makes that a good thing? Well, I think if you're selling low-cost websites, I think if your websites are $1,500, $2,000, kind of at that end, and you're basically just building a website, then put it on, right? You can get people to opt in or out by just looking at the price and saying, yeah, I can afford that, and they'll call you. One of the reasons not to put it on, though, I heard someone say you should put your pricing on to qualify people in or out. So qualify people. I think that's really bad advice. I think the reality is if someone goes to your website and you think, I'm going to qualify this person by putting my price on, and then they can say, yes, I'm in, or no, I'm out, that's a terrible idea, because the value that someone places on a website or a product is based on their past understanding of that product or service, but that has no reality in what it's actually worth at times. And so even though they say, well, I want to pay $2,000 for a website, doesn't mean they won't pay $4,000 for a website. It just means at that point in time, with the limited knowledge they have, they think that that is a good price for a website. And so by you saying, I'm going to qualify someone based on my price on my website and let them choose if they're in or out, I think it's a terrible idea, because there's so many people that came to me initially and said, I want to pay X amount of dollars for a website, and I was able to double and triple what they wanted to initially pay. When I raised their expectation for the website, I showed them extra value, and all of a sudden, they thought, wow, that's I don't want to pay $2,000 for a website. I want to pay $6,000 or $8,000 for a website because I don't want that kind of website. I want this kind of website. So qualification is a really bad reason to put your price on. But if you are in that competitive niche and you can add lots of features into that service that you're providing, so underneath your price, you might have a list of all these features, and people can look at that feature set and go, wow, that is good value for that price. That may be a good reason to put your prices on your website. If you're doing lots of small clients and you know you just can't get them over, the hurdle of $1,500 or $2,000, put it on so they know that you're in their price range. Even though I think a lot of clients you can get them to pay more, there's a whole niche of people that just can't. And if that's the person you're servicing, then definitely put it on. You can let them know that you're in the ballpark and they may want to call you, okay? If you're just building a website, that's all you're building, just a website, 5 pages, a couple of plugins, a theme template, put it on if you want to put the price on. You're not really adding much more value. So that's some good reasons to do it. Now, would I do it? I think I would probably not do it, even because of those reasons, because I still think that the quantity of people that you could get to pay more vastly outweighs the small amount of people that would just say, I like that price, I'll call. I just don't think the payoff's enough. But if you want to do it, okay? I just wouldn't do it. Now, what are the reasons not to put the price on your website? I think these reasons are pretty compelling why you shouldn't put it on your website. I think if you are selling a service, building a website, and you offer high value, like you really add value to that website, and you have an outcome-based approach where you talk about outcomes that you deliver, there is no way that a prospect can come to your website, understand the value, understand the outcome you deliver by a price only, or even with a list of features. In their head, there's no way that they can get around or understand the complexity of what you can do for them based on just a price. And I think it's foolish to put a price on a website if you are delivering a high-value service. So when I sell my websites, I sell a website called the Sales-Driven Website. It is a website methodology that I've created. I've given it a name. I have these features in my website that are mapped to problems that my clients have. And each feature maps and is a solution for each one of those problems. If I was just to put on my website $10,000, and then I would just list those features, they wouldn't see the value. They just wouldn't see it. Like, it's hard in a little bit of text to explain the value. But if I sat with that client for 1 hour and I go through that methodology with them, I convince them that, wow, I need a sales-driven website. Many of my clients, the next day or 3 days later when I call them back and say, how did you go with the proposal? A lot of times they say, Marlon, spoke to the team, we've all agreed, we need a sales-driven website. And I think to myself, wow, I've just indoctrinated them. I've indoctrinated them with my methodology. Before my meeting with them, they had no idea what a sales-driven website was. It was a term I created. But after an hour with me, I've kind of indoctrinated them into thinking the only website that they would ever buy from this day forth is a sales-driven website. I don't want one of those websites that just gives you 5 pages and a pretty design and nice colors and images on it. Now, they need a sales-driven website. And so, can I communicate that in a price on my website? No way. There's no way. I need to spend time with that client. So a price will only push them away. What I need to do, your website, and you need to understand this as a web designer, is to attract people and get them to commit their contact details so your business or your client's business can call them, qualify them on the phone. A human needs to qualify, not a bot, not a website, a human, because human beings have feelings and emotions, and sometimes you can get them to pay a lot more if you can prove the value in what you're doing, but you can't do that through a website page. I really feel like in business today that the automation age, the age where you do very little and software does all the work for you, and passive income where you don't work but you actually earn heaps of money, that has destroyed business ethic. There is no such thing as passive income. The reality is it's very hard to get passive income. Maybe if you invest in property, yeah, it's passive income. But geez, you've got to have a lot of money to actually invest in that property in the first place, right? And then if you buy the wrong property, your asset goes backwards. And stocks, yeah, I guess it's passive for you, but things can go either way. You got to put a bit of work into making sure an investment is still working. And so that's energy, that's time. And when it comes to sales, there is no automated way of getting a client. There is no automated way of getting leads. You have to work. And I feel like the attitude of saying, should I put my pricing on my website, is kind of the passive way of saying, how little work can I do to get a qualified lead? Right? And I don't think that's a good attitude to have. I think the attitude you should be is that I've got to work hard. I have to speak to clients. I have to qualify them. I have to raise their expectation. And the people who can do that are the people who take the reward in business and in web design. And so my advice to you, if you are at the bottom end and you're doing websites really cheap and it's all price-based and it's a race to the bottom, then maybe putting your price on your website is a good idea. But if you want to add value and sell websites for $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, remove that price off. It just scares people, and there's no such thing as a good qualification process with a price. There's no upside to that. There's only downside. All right. So if you are thinking of putting your prices on your website, now you've listened to this and you think, Marlon, that's a great idea, or Marlon, that's a terrible idea, write in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to have that chat with you in the comments if you've missed the live stream. And if you do want to get in a community of web designers who are all growing and scaling their businesses, go to Facebook, type in the Profitable Web Designer, and join the group. We'd love to have you on board. We'd love you as part of the community. There's lots of training to help you get ahead and grow your business. Because I believe that web design is one of the best businesses in the world. It gives you the money, if you know how to build websites profitably. It gives you the freedom. You can work from any location. You can work any time of the day. And it gives you the meaning. If you work with clients that you love working with, you really do make a difference in their life. So I want to encourage you to join our Facebook group, and I hope to see you on the inside.